Well, welcome to another episode of the Spurs Rewind. I'm your host, Joe Garcia, and I'm going to be joined today by my co host, the lovely Vicky Villarreal, Vicky Vix, and the one and only Josh Paredes.
Nice.
I
Thanks
said it
for having
right.
me again. Yeah.
Yes. So, Josh has had a busy week because he was getting ready for Tim Duncan week, which we're going to talk a lot about. And just so happens that one of the giveaways that they're going to give out for the Tim Duncan week is a picture from the one and only Sahar, the artist that actually painted the painting that you see right there on the wall, right behind Josh.
Cool.
She did an amazing job on the one with Timmy. So whoever
Oh,
gets that
yeah.
one, they lucked out, Josh.
Yeah, whoever wins, I already ordered my own. The same I did with this one. I ran the contest for this one also, and when I did it, I just got my own. I was like, I need this one. I'll probably this whole thing is a work in progress, or I'll probably have hers up here at some point too.
I know we can't get Michael to get some for us. Hey, Vicky wants one.
I want one.
She has blank space behind her wall. She can hang it there.
Right here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the magic number, which the magic number is 1. It comes down to one game, and it starts tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. If San Antonio manages to get a win against the Brooklyn Nets, that's it. They're in. They're in the play-in tourney. They clinch the 10th seed. So it's either the Spurs win this one game, or the Pelicans can help us out, and the Pelicans can lose tonight, because I believe tonight they're playing the Mavericks, if I remember correctly. And if the Mavericks wind up beating the Pelicans, they do us a solid. So the Spurs are in. If the Spurs lose, however, it still kind of leaves the door open for the Kings. The Kings aren't out of the picture entirely. So it's all up to the Spurs. They have what I believe at this point in time, 4 games, including tonight's game. So they need to win at least one out of these last 4 games, and they're in. And I think for the Kings, in order for them to make the play-in tourney, the Spurs have to lose every single game, and the Kings would have to win out the rest of their couple of games that they have left, which is about 4 or 5 games on their season, to get into the play-in tourney. So the Spurs are in charge of their own fate. I don't know how I feel about that, because I told you it harkens back to the days of the late 80s and early 90s, where the Spurs, it came down to the last day, and when you leave things up to other teams, certain scenarios have to fall into place. It never boded well for us. So Vicky, what do you think? One game, were they going to get it done tonight? What does your heart tell you?
I want to say, well, the fan in me is like, yes, they're going to get it done tonight, because they have to have that mentality. They're up against the wall. And I want to think that they realize that, and they know when they're against the wall, they need to perform well. They did it in the bubble, not all the same faces, but we saw them perform at a really high level when they, were expected to lose out mostly everything, and they did extremely well. So I think now that they see the math in front of them, I'm hoping that they, just one win, like that's it. Like you get this win. Well, I mean, then if the Pelicans win, it's still kind of up in the air with the rest of the 3 games left. But I want to say they get it tonight. If not tonight, I think they'll get at least one against the Suns. They definitely could do that. They've done it. So, I'm really hopeful. I am hopeful.
So you're telling me there's a chance, Vicky, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think there's a chance.
I heard a lot of I want to say.
Yes.
But not.
She's not guaranteeing victory. Don't you do that.
Let's put this into perspective here. I was reading, it kind of depends. I'm kind of checking my phone to see if we're going to get any injury updates from Paul.
Me too.
But I'm hearing that it might be the first time that Harden, Irving, Durant, Griffin, whoever other guys, that they're all starting. I think Harris is out. So that helps because the Spurs have trouble defending threes. But I also want to say that they're going to do it tonight. And obviously they can. We saw whatever the hell they just did against Milwaukee, which was an absolute just onslaught.
I don't even know where that came from, Josh. Honestly, Where has this team
Dude,
been all season, dude?
I don't know. Every Popovich was making threes. Like nobody could miss from the outside. Like Keldon Johnson was burying him. Like people that you don't see, like still need some work on that.
Patty Mills came to play.
Patty Mills, and I had just written that day.
Yes, you did.
Like I literally posted something that morning.
It
It wasn't really called out. I was just kind of saying we need to talk about what are we gonna do if he keeps struggling, or what the future holds for him, and how he started off so hot in the season, and then he's been slowing down both like physically and mentally. It seems like because Paul was talking about how he's not running the court as much, which is like his whole game. He's like the Tasmanian devil, like Sean Elliott would say. So it just depends. It's going to come down to the threes, man.
Poor Patty. He's getting tired. He's like me. He's had a long week. he's had a long season.
The reason it's so hard to say is because of how drastically different they play on any given game. You can look at how they played the last game and just be like, oh, yeah, that team could definitely do it. That was obviously the highlight of their season so far. But there have been other really big games where they came out and did something similar and played really well. So I think that's why it's so hard. It's not like we can say for sure, oh, they're going to lose. They can't. This is the Nets. And they're going to have all their stars and everything. There's always like this like glimmer of hope with the Spurs this season. I think it's a little bit uncertain.
I don't know. I kind of low key think that they're going to wind up, getting this one tonight. I just have a feeling that they're going to wind up pulling together and they're going to get the dub. I'm not guaranteeing victory. I just said I have a feeling that they might win, and I'm just going to put it on might. I'm going to light my prayer candles, prende las velas if you have them. You have to turn them on. I know you have a prayer candle, Vicky.
Yes.
The one from the dollar store that has the Virgin Guadalupe, with the praying hands.
I think I have a Spurs one somewhere.
I have two. They're right here.
Yeah, when HEB had them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you gotta light you prende las velas, turn on the candles if you got them.
I'm more hopeful for tomorrow.
Any of the good luck
honestly.
trinkets anybody has, you got to put them on. I don't care if it's a dirty jersey that you haven't worn in a long time and it stinks. If you always wear it and they win, wear that tonight. Any little things that you wear, like Vicky might have a youth size jersey from back in the day. It brought her good luck. Because remember, there was a story too. There was an angry Vicky when the Spurs lost against the Lakers with 0.4. Vicky was actually so mad. She went outside in a thunderstorm to get her frustrations out playing basketball and did get struck by lightning.
Mad. I didn't.
I respect that.
The lightning was afraid of her that day.
I know. It's so stupid now that I think back. I mean, it's like the metal hoop and everything. Like, what was I thinking? My mom.
I mean, as long as you weren't dunking, then you should be okay.
I was like, ah!
I
would have paid money to see an angry Vicky in the rain playing basketball. That would have been hilarious.
I was wearing like a jersey too, like my David Robinson jersey or something.
You had tears coming out in the rain. I
was like, they needed David. He's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Spurs might fare a little bit better tonight. I think it's going to be still a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think this is going to be a thriller. I think it's going to come down to maybe less than 4 or 5 points, but I think the Spurs will do enough to hopefully pull out victory, because they need this one game. And this is it. This is your season, basically, because if you don't win this one and you have a perfect opportunity, if they're going to start resting a lot of their starters, you're going to be facing a New York Knicks team that's no joke right now in the East. They're a very good team. I believe right now they were at the 4th seed. Is that correct, Josh?
Well, I think they're technically maybe 6th because there was a 3-way division tie I read or something.
My God.
But they might have the 4th best record. I know it's a whole mess. But bottom line is they have stuff to play for, just like most teams, which is why this play-in seems to be working. So they're not going to be a layup either. And then, of course, there's the Suns after that. So, but I still feel like the Knicks over Nets would be an easier route if they have to get one. But obviously, I'll take any of the 4.
I would too. I think tonight is going to be their best opportunity to get that dub. if they can get that win, I'm my heart tells me that Coach Pop might go ahead and maybe rest his vets a game or so, and let the go ahead and let some of the youth get some run. And if they're able to ink out a win here and there, so be it. But I think rest is going to be his primary objective as we get closer to the end of the season, because that play-in tourney is going to be tough. You know, you're going to most likely start off on the road, and there it looks like right now they're going to be playing the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, and if they wind up beating the Grizzlies, then they're going to have to play the winner from the Golden State Warriors Los Angeles Lakers game. And the Lakers, nobody wants to face them right now with the healthy LeBron in the lineup, you know? So I'm just like, oh man, it doesn't get any easier. But hey, at least we're talking about them making the play-in tourney, and it's only one game. It's only one game. So with that said, we'll go ahead and move and switch topics here, but let's get it done, Spurs. Go Spurs, go tonight against the Nets.
Go.
I want to go ahead and talk about Josh's great work that he's been doing lately, Vicky. He's been doing the great job with this whole Tim Duncan week, you know?
Yeah.
Great articles. He's, you know, had a lot of traction with some of the articles that he's written. Prizes, giveaways. I sponsored one of those giveaways too, so that's fun. So go ahead and talk to us a little bit more about what you've kind of said about Tim Duncan and the articles you've written. In particular, one of them was the quotes that really had a lot of traction. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, and by the way, that the giveaway that you're helping with, that's going to be lasting through the week, I believe. So like if you go to my Twitter at Josh810, I'm sharing each article every day that I'm releasing under one thread under my pinned tweet. So if you want a chance to win those stickers or that Spurs coffee mug, Spurs gang, what is it called? Coffee gang? Then you can go there and you can find them all in a nice little list. As far as the quotes one, I did a lot of research on that one. I just kind of talked about, I focused on mostly on high profile players he faced a lot, Garnett, Shaq, Kobe, and what they had to say about him. And some of them, I mean, most of them are kind of like, obviously just talking him up and how great he was and on and off the court. There's a couple funny ones in there. There's a one with Draymond Green about how he tried to talk trash to Tim, and he was just kind of like ignoring him completely, and he just kind of said like, I wasn't sure if he's just like that or he just doesn't respect me or if it was both. And I was like, I mean, I hope it was both, because he was Draymond was kind of a pest to Tim. Well, he kind of still is, but so that one has been doing pretty well for me. It's not really about getting views. It's just I want for my site, I just want people to read about Tim and his career, and like he affected my life so much. So this was kind of like a personal project just to kind of pay tribute to what he's done for the city and for us. So I still have the rest up until Saturday, every day still coming out on my Twitter. It should be a nice, I have some good ones to finish out. And I have the schedule on my Twitter as well that has the full, the topic list. There's going to be some stat stuffing greatness and stuff. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we have some people watching us from YouTube right now. We have James Stevens, and then we also have Tyler Menenholt, who are both watching. They're being active right now in the chat, talking about who they think the Spurs should draft. A name that Tyler brought up right now was Luka Garza. And James was asking who that was, and he's like, he's a 6. So they're sharing some information about their potential selection for the San Antonio Spurs as the NBA draft draws ever closer. It's not till July, but we got to prepare for that because we got some things in the works that I think Vicky and Josh will probably be a part of. So we'll talk more about that off camera. But
the draft up is Ben's. Go to the Boomstein and ask him about Luka. He probably has a profile on Project Spurs about him.
He has tons of profiles on these draft picks. Benjamin Bornstein, you can follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's part of the Project Spurs staff. He follows college basketball extensively. So anything you want to ask as far as draft picks, who you think the Spurs should draft, or a guy that you should keep an eye on, Ben is your guy to go to. He'll give you at least 5 or 6 off the top of his head.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk about the Tim Duncan photo ops that are going to be coming to the AT&T Center starting tomorrow. I saw that it's going to be a photo collage or a photo opportunity that's free and open to the public, which means you don't even have to pay for parking. You can go to the AT&T Center, and it's going to be from noon to 6 p.m. And everybody in San Antonio has the opportunity to go and kind of, go down a trip through memory lane. And they're going to have I believe his NBA MVP trophies on display there. So you can go ahead and take a picture with those. They really haven't had those on display for the public. So that's an opportunity, a good photo op for everybody. And then, of course, they're going to have the collage of photos and various other photo ops available to the public. So that's going to be happening on Thursday and on Friday. Unfortunately, they're not going to have that continue into Saturday, which is the Tim Duncan Hall of Fame inauguration game, which I will be there in person to watch. And it's going to be fun because I'm going to be wearing my Timmy shirt that I have on right now. Timmy. So I'm going to enjoy that. But what do you guys think of the photo op? I think that was really classy from the San Antonio Spurs. What did you think, Vicky?
Yeah, I think that it's a super, super cool element that they've added to this. I mean, I don't know, last Hall of Fame inductee we had was, I guess, David Robinson, and I don't know what they did at that point. I can't remember. I don't know if anyone else can, but I don't feel like it was this extensive, which is, I mean, of course, Tim Duncan is Tim Duncan, and I appreciate it all the way. But just having, I guess, the added element of, like, I mean, social media has driven so much of this, and the fact that it's so widespread. And I think that they're really keeping up with the fan base this way, giving them an opportunity to take part in it, because not everybody, is able to go, especially because of the pandemic. Not everyone has been able to go to games or, do these things in person that they normally would. So having that opportunity to do sort of a come and go attraction like that, I think it's really cool. And I'm hoping I'll be able to make it out one of these days to go see it, because I think that it's like a once in a lifetime thing. Want to go over there and, get my pictures and see all those cool things, because I think that it's going to be really great.
You know what? Just you talking about that right now, Vicky, gave me an idea. We got to do a Project Spurs staff night for a game next season where we can hopefully get everybody together so we can all go watch a game together. That would be so fun.
That would be cool.
I'm down for that. As long as Michael's down to buy us the tickets. Just
yeah.
It'd be
you mean at the game?
Yeah, at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant just going out to watch it somewhere. I was like,
let's go to the game. I want to go to the game.
Like a whole block of just us.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It would be fun because then we could start a wave. We'll let Vicky start the wave, and then we won't do it. We'll just let her start it.
I won't notice because I can't even tell when I stand up,
But Josh,
should help their home record, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Josh, what did you think about the photo op the Spurs are going to be having for Tim Duncan prior to the Hall of Fame game on Saturday?
That's an awesome idea. I'm gonna hopefully try to make it out Friday. I'm still up in the air of when or if I can go, but it's just really cool that they're doing that. I'm sure it's going to be packed for a lot of the time because of how this city is crazy about Tim, and I think it's cool. I also read that they're strongly encouraging donations to the San Antonio Food Bank.
Yes, that's good
for entry. So I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, I have some extra stuff I can take. So if I end up going, that'll be something like, killing two birds with one stone. I just want to see, what kind of stuff they have, because there's so much, 19 years. It's just going to be cool. It's like a little museum exhibit type of thing.
It's a lot of memorabilia. If you had to bring out all that stuff, there'd be a lot of things for the fans to take a look at. They should do that one time, like have like a Tim Duncan memorial kind of thing set up where you can just go through there. And, maybe even different Spurs players that, their numbers have been, put up there on the rafters, kind of, honor them by having all this memorabilia that could be behind glass or what have you. The Spurs fans can kind of take a look at and take pictures of. I think that would be really interesting, really cool.
That would be
that would be cool. Just like something for each championship too, like special players, moments.
Oh, yeah. photos,
school
iconic
things.
photos, things like that.
They should, they should have a museum.
There you go.
And he still needs a statue at some point.
Oh,
Yay!
man.
Yes.
We can never have nice things here. Somebody will deface the statue sooner or later.
So they have to put it on one of those really big things, like a big platform, and then fences.
She wants to build a moat. Let's build a moat.
Yeah.
Fill
Just
it
have
with
laser-
alligators.
Yeah.
Laser security, laser beams all around it, and
We can put the sharks with laser beams on their heads,
Sharks, yes, sharks.
I'm sure if anybody defaced it, they would be immediately arrested or punched.
Yeah.
Because you don't mess with Tim here.
Yeah, they should be. They should line them up and let the whole city just have at them with the chancla.
Sounds fair. Yeah, they can
Yeah.
make it a Spurs event.
Death by chancla. Death by chancla. Yeah, but the Spurs have done a great job, I think, of kind of incorporating, the city into being able to take part in this Tim Duncan Hall of Fame enshrinement, that ceremony that's going to be taking place on Saturday. Because I like what they're doing, because even though you might not be able to afford a ticket, you can't go there, at least there's an event that you can go ahead and be part of and still be able to take pictures and still be able to contribute and feel like you're part of this event, because you can take pictures, and they're encouraging fans to even use the hashtag, Hall of Fame. I forgot how they put it up there, but there's the hashtag there that the San Antonio Spurs, they emailed out a whole thing to all the fans who are on that Spurs.
I think it's TDHOF.
Yeah, TDHOF, something like that. Tim Duncan Hall of Fame. So the Spurs emailed all the fans who signed up for their, their newsletter. So I know I got it. And if you just want to go out and take a pic, you can. You don't want to take the kids, the family, you can do that, And then I'm sure the fan shop is open, so you can buy some merch, $30 hat.
Yeah.
They do have some good hats. That's where I got this one. People ask me about this Coyote hat, so that's where I got it. But Josh,
so recreating Vicky's dunk right there on that.
Oh my God. I like that. We should get that on a shirt. Vicky's mean face with the ball doing a dunk like that. Yes.
My arm
green cap that.
I know. I'm gonna tell Vicky to do that. We're gonna have to get a green screen behind her and tell Mac to make some really cool graphics of that.
That's great. I love that.
We'll put it on a shirt. The next sticker giveaway will be Vicky.
That'd be awesome.
Anything else you got coming up this week, though, Josh, for the Tim Duncan Hall of Fame week?
Yeah. So Saturday, the day that he's going to be inducted, I'll have 2 articles dropping that day because I just had an extra idea and I was like, why not? But still, every day there are 2 right now on Project Spurs that you can check out. Yesterday, I did. It was Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, the top 5 moments between them, because Garnett is being inducted also. And then today, I released Tim Duncan versus Kobe Bryant top 5 moments. So that's going to be on projectspurs.com. Lots of on and off court moments for both of those. And then I'll be going back to my stuff on Air Alamo, where I am continuing the series that way. I actually just had, this is kind of related to current stuff, but Paul just tweeted something about
it was Trey Lyles. He ain't never gonna play anymore, man.
Apparently Coach Pop says he'll be back soon, which I'm like, back where?
Did he play? Did he play in the last game? I don't remember he got any playing time. No, right?
No, he hasn't. I think wasn't the last game where he had the Dennis Rodman shirt.
I like that.
It was pretty cool, but yeah, I don't.
Okay, I would have thought I don't know, he'd be looking a little upset or angry if something's going wrong. But
maybe he got mad because of his lack of playing time, and he was like, if you're not going to play me, just sit me out the rest of the season. So.
And he might have wanted to be waived so he could sign.
They tried to trade him. Remember, they tried to trade him.
I remember that. Well, I think because there was a date where you could waive him and he could still make a playoff roster, but they didn't. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they still have a plan for him, but it doesn't really seem that way. Not even quite sure why. It's not like he's terrible.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he said something to
Just
Coach Pop.
Too many people. Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know.
I'm just
mystery.
speculating. I'm starting Cheeseman just to start it. I
Yeah.
don't
That
even
seems
know.
to happen pretty often though, where some player you see them playing and then all of a sudden they just don't, and it's like you have to wonder if they said something or did something uncharacteristically.
Yeah, even
Spurs.
James Stevens, he's watching us right now from YouTube, and he says, "Poor Trey." I'm like, we'll never know. What happened with Trey? Why isn't he playing? What transpired? It's behind closed doors. It's the Spurs are the CIA of the NBA, so it's just going to be left to speculation unless he talks next season when he's no longer a San Antonio Spur.
Yeah, maybe he has an overbearing uncle that's trying to call the shots.
Probably.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
how do you all feel that the Spurs make that 10th spot and they get in the play-in tourney? Are you going to consider it let's say, the season a success? We'll start with you, Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, me? Okay. Success. Relative to the past, no. For what I expected this season, yeah, I would say so. I didn't expect. I mean, I guess I would have expected maybe at least 8th or something around there, still with this roster. But that was also, without the COVID and Derek White and all that stuff. So I guess my answer would be, considering the circumstances, yes. But overall, this team is capable of a lot more. And I think we'll see that when they can actually rest for more than 24 hours between games and Derek White's toe doesn't keep breaking.
Oh, my goodness. And if it's not the toe, he has various other ailments that seem just to come up and plague him. And I think it's just the grind of the 72 game schedule. It affects everybody. Everybody goes down. They get injuries. It's part of the game. But I don't know, man. They got to do something about this schedule next year, because this is ridiculous. You just have games condensed so much that it's not conducive to players staying healthy. You're putting up this schedule, and then they're going to wind up getting injured because of the many back-to-back games that they have to play, short turnaround times. It's a lot of wear and tear on the body. They got to really take a look at that schedule. Even if they have to start early or prolong the season a little bit more, I think it's going to be conducive to the not the Spurs, but the teams in general. Everybody's trying to stay healthy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You have superstars that people will pay money to come out and see, and they're injured. And whose fault is that at the end of the day? They're just playing the games that are put in front of them, So that's a topic for another discussion. But
yeah, they're not going to do that again. There's just it's COVID, and then the Olympics. They just had to jam it in there.
Yeah,
there's no way it's going to be the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But Vicky, is this going to be a success if they make the play-in game, or is it going to be a failure?
As Josh was speaking, I was like, yes, everything. I completely agree. I think that at the beginning of the season, you could probably go back and find one of our videos or something where I said the Spurs were going to end like 6th or higher. I really believed it. And I do still think that if nothing had gone wrong, and if Derek White stayed healthy the whole season, COVID didn't hit 3 of our guys at once, I do think that they could have ended within, maybe not 6th, but they would have been in the playoffs. I really do think it. And I believe that. And so in that sense, I don't consider it a success because I know how great they could have been. But as Josh was saying, in terms of everything they had to deal with and, how they've overcome it, it is a success. So on face value, for anyone who's seeing it and they just see, oh, wow, the Spurs are fighting to stay on the 10th spot, I think it's kind of like, wow, that was a really bad season for them. But I think for those of us that have followed, have watched, have seen, so many minutes of them like messing up and making up and doing all this stuff, I think that it is a success in many ways for many of the individual players. And it's going to be better next year. I really do believe it.
Oh, I hope so. James Stevens, who's watching us from YouTube, says he considers this a failure for sure. And that's probably going to be the consensus for most of Spurs fans, because Spurs fans were left jaded last season because the Spurs failed to make the playoffs. However, you go into this season, you have higher expectations for the team, period, after you saw them look so good in the bubble play. And then it just, for whatever reason, they had their issues. There wasn't that cohesiveness in the beginning. Some players kind of looked a little bit out of shape. They needed to get their conditioning where it needed to be. It takes a couple of games to get going, and then they started winning a little bit. We're like, oh my God, look at this team. They're looking great. And then they hit a wall, and then they just looked bad for long stretches. They couldn't win, a lot of games back to back. They would maybe win 2 games, 3 games, then lose a couple, win one here, lose one there. There was just really no consistency. And I think that's what Spurs fans are really looking for. But at the end of the day, I don't consider this season a total failure. What I'm looking at is I was looking in particular for the growth of the younger core. And I think if we can see them continue to improve, even if the season ends however it ends, to me, it's going to be a win because your young core is getting some experience. Hopefully that can translate into that can go into next season where we're going to see what they can really do. They're going to work on things in the off season. Are they going to probably play in the G League? Some of these younger players, probably. That's not necessarily a bad thing, So I know how the development is for the Spurs. Either way, I think the season is a success because it looked at times the Spurs were just left for dead. We wouldn't even be thinking about talking play-in tourney, 10th seed. We thought at one point that, wow, it wouldn't be ironic if they didn't even win another game, from here on out. It kind of looked bleak, but, hand it to the Spurs. They kind of overcame adversity a little bit. So this team still got some fight in them. And if Derek White had stayed healthy, who knows what could have happened? We're always going to have the what if scenario. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're looking into next season when James Stevens was saying, who's ready for a new head coach? I don't know if I'm ready yet. I don't know what's going to happen with Coach Pop. There's a big question mark on that. We don't know what's going to happen with Rudy. We don't know what's going to happen with DeMar. This team
that's a whole other 30-minute episode if we're going to get into Coach Pop and Gay and Patty Mills and stuff.
All I'm saying
one crisis at a time, James.
Yeah. All I'm saying is we don't really know what's going to happen. And if, in fact, those shoes do drop, I'm sure we'll talk about it at that point in time. But there's a lot of things that are going to happen in the offseason. And as bad as you all thought this team was right now, if these players decide to leave, we could be looking at an even harsher season next year. But again, you got to look at the silver lining and look at your young core and see how they develop and grow. So that's my thought here in closing as we go ahead and bring the show to a close. And as we do, Vicky, where can they follow you on social media?
On Twitter at the Vicky Vix, TheVickieVix.
There you go. Make sure you go and follow Vicky, and you can follow her to see if she has any other interesting stories of an angry Vicky playing in the rain.
Yes.
Great.
That should be a book, Josh. I think she should write a book about her experiences as young Vicky, angry Vicky.
Agreed.
And Josh, where can they go ahead and follow you on social media? And also, where can they go ahead and look at all those great articles that you have coming out in honor of the great Tim Duncan?
Yeah, so that's all going to be at Josh810810 on Twitter. My pinned tweet, I'm going to be sharing them all. Tomorrow actually is going to be the one that I'm posting on my own site that I kind of have barely been working on, but it'll be something that I do in the future. It's going to be the 10 funniest Tim Duncan moments. So it's gonna look at some clips from games, Ginobili making him sit on a cup, stuff like that. Some deep cuts that I found. Yeah, and some deep cuts that I found, and it's going to be on San Antonio Spurs.com. That's the site, but just easier to go to Twitter and just find it there. And it should be cool. And then I'll go be back to my regular Air Alamo posts to close out the week.
Sounds good. So make sure you go ahead and follow Josh on Twitter, and make sure you go ahead and read all the great articles that he has coming out, especially the one on his site, because it's like a parody website. So he puts out a lot of funny stuff. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go and check that out. Because
I wrote as the Bat for Halloween.
From Manu.
For Halloween, I wrote as the bat that
That's so cool.
was hit. So it was
Uh-huh.
an interview with the bat. So you can go check
How
that
did
out.
he feel?
At SanAntonioSpurs.com. You're not going to see a lot there because I honestly have been too busy. But I was happy with that one because I kind of spoke from the perspective of the bat. I
bat.
gave him a name, and I told him I kind of said that he didn't know what hit him, and he was just kind of being innocent. It was fun. It's like combining Spurs and the Onion for me. So
There
So
you
it's
go.
fun.
Yeah, so definitely
that
go
out.
check that one out. It's a lot of fun. So you can go ahead and follow me too at Two Shots Podcast, all spelled out. TWO, Two Shots Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And we have some new merch coming out here too, stickers, apparel, the whole bit. So make sure you go and check that out too. You can go ahead and for more information in regards to our online store where you can get our merch, go ahead and check out Two Shots on Twitter. And don't forget to check out projectspurs.com for all your latest information regarding the San Antonio Spurs and also MMA. They're getting in, putting up articles regarding MMA, UFC, boxing. So go ahead and check them out, projectspurs.com. So for Vicky and Josh, I'm Joe Garcia. Thank you for watching another episode of the Spurs Rewind. And like we always say, spread the love, stop the hate, be kind, we're out. Peace.